If someone was to ask me, how do you impart a vision to your people for more than just getting a bigger church, I would probably say several things. Number one, I would say I would begin by praying. I would call them to ask God to show them what he's doing around them. God, give me your heart for the community that I live in, the neighborhood that I'm in, the city that I'm in. Show me where you're working, and then give me a heart to care about that. So I would certainly begin by seeking God, the leading of the Spirit and his burdens. Secondly, I would realize that in order for me to understand what God is actually doing, I'd have to talk to people who are in the community, who are in the world. And so rather than just assuming that I had all the answers as the pastor and the expert, I would in humility meet with people and interview them. Where do you see God working? Where do you see what God's up to? I would probably also read outside of the fields of traditional pastoral theology, not just reading Bible commentaries and how to give better sermons, but I'd start asking, what does God want to do in the world? What does the kingdom of God look like? What does cultural renewal look like? If Jesus was Lord of the fashion industry, the finance industry, justice, marketing, education, the family, what would that look like? And then I'd begin to read around that, talk with people around that, and then I would empower them to tell their stories in public, in the church, of how God's moving outside of the church. And I think by having a sense of God's heart, growing your theological and knowledge base, in humility, interviewing people and seeing where God's working, and then holding them up as the heroes where God is actually working rather than the pastor as the expert, that would go a long way to giving people a vision of what God's doing in the world rather than just growing a larger church.